Very good afternoon. Welcome back to Les Sables d'Olonne. It is, I think it's Friday. I'm pretty sure about that. Not quite sure. But it's day 76 on the race course. Two finishes last night and this morning with Paul Mea coming in fifth. Jeremy Bayu in fourth. Both are back on dry land just now. The champagne corks have been popped. They've had the champagne moment and they're both in their respective press conferences at the moment. Next in will be Nico Lundvin coming in due tonight, round about 10 o'clock or thereabouts. And tonight, Thomas Riong and Justine Metro, 7th and 8th respectively, coming in not too far behind. There's only 20 miles, so that battle is still going on. Sam Goodchild probably in Sunday. Now then, my guest today in the studio, super lucky to have Pip Hare back by popular demand. Pip, welcome. And Chris Pratt is very much the go-to Mocha co-skipper of choice. He sailed for many, many years with Jeremy Bayu, but he did a leg of the ocean race with Boris Herman on the Malizia, and is also co-skipper to Maxime Sorel. So, Chris, starting off with you, first of all, Jeremy Bayu said there are not so good fourth places, and this is a beautiful fourth place. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, exactly. He's right because I mean, finally he just won the fourth place, and it was a sprint for the fourth place. They knew like maybe 30 days ago that it will be the better that they can have. So he wins the sprint. So yeah, I think he really can be happy about this.
He looked happy. I think he was more relieved to be in and finished.
Exactly.
Pip, your thoughts on Jeremy Bayu's race?
I think, you know, it's a great result for him, and you need to also take into account his massive disappointment in 2020, and so this is just kind of a tonic for him and his team. It's a lot of hard work.
Did you know from experience he was past you in the last race, and he was pretty chatty. He was struggling at that point. I think he said during that period that it was the hardest times mentally of any of his racing career.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's not an experience that he's used to, kind of being so far back in the fleet and then having to work hard to overtake everyone. And certainly when he passed me just before Cape Horn, and I mean, I couldn't get him off the radio. He definitely wanted to talk, and he'd been struggling, I think, with, you know, not being in touch with boats a lot.
But certainly a day for celebration for both Jeremy Bayu and Paul Mea. This is Jeremy on the pontoon.
Well, feeling during almost all the race was quite hard. At one point, knowing that it was impossible to be on the podium was quite a bit difficult to admit. And at the end, they are bad fourth place and they are beautiful fourth place, and it's a beautiful one because I achieved to be at the front of this pack, and I managed to keep this first place until the end. It was quite not easy task, and I'm very glad to have achieved that. These guys, I mean, Nico Lundvin or Sam Goodchild, they are champions, and Sam Goodchild is like quite a monster. What he did with his mainsails a few days ago is just like crazy. He said very well, and he's not well aware by what happened to him, but he's going to finish the race, and he's a huge sailor, like Nico, like Paul, like all these sailors in this group. It was very high level, yeah.
Very high level peloton there, Chris. I mean, nice words from Jeremy about all of them, but especially for Sam Goodchild, who described as an animal.
Yeah, I mean, I can say more than just Jeremy. Sam showed us during those last 3 years how good he was. World champion last year, always on the podium or close to the podium. Again here, close to the podium. And finally, he broke his mainsail, and everybody was thinking, okay, he's just going to finish with just the front sails and easy, and maybe just reach a 10th place, and he fight again, being able to repair the sail. We also the images with he's like a Smurf now. Huh? He's got the blue suit and he's also got the hand now.
Exactly.
So no, crazy, and for sure he will be back in 4 years with the ability to win this race, I'm sure.
I'm sure, and he's going to get a big welcome. We've got a big Sam Goodchild fan club crowd today in the studio. But Sam is around Cape Finisterre. He sent us some footage just of the conditions, which is
amazing.
Really pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So he's round Cape Finisterre and into the Bay of Biscay, and seems to be going quite well. So we should see him Sunday
it's on starboard
afternoon.
side, so it's on starboard side, so you know it's not the Cape Horn, but it looks like the Cape Horn, no?
It does,
I mean,
exactly.
I never seen the Cape Horn, but maybe you can tell more.
It's a pretty similar feeling, yeah. And I do think, you know, it's one of the things about coming back into the Bay of Biscay. We all kind of talk about Cape Horn and the mythology around it, and isn't it tough? But actually, the North Atlantic at this time of year is brutal. The weather is complex. The fronts just keep coming. The sea states are terrible. You get Cape Finisterre with the continental shelf. You know, I found when I came back up the Atlantic in 2021, I was hankering after the simplicity of the Southern Ocean. I never thought I'd say that.
The other person who's come in this afternoon is Paul Mea, who really deserves a great respect for the way he's pushed through ever since he didn't manage to finish the last Vendée Globe. He set up a new programme with Biotherm, and it was a really, really emotional time for him, Chris, wasn't it?
Yeah, amazing race, because he really managed really with his pace. I mean, he really take his pace during the Southern Ocean part, and he said this, and then he was able to push more on the Atlantic part, and this battle with Nico for the 5th place show again how good he is and how able he is to push his limit. I mean, he's finishing without J2. His fourth day, which is managed to do with a different cable, is just amazing. And I saw him touch it, and there is a lot of tension in it. So I don't really know how he managed to do this, but it's just crazy. And we also have to say that he's leading his team which is just a little team without any so much technical support. And so no, it's just amazing.
You can see the level of respect, Pip, on the pontoon for him, from all his peers, everybody from Brittany down to, I mean, welcome both skippers, but Paul, I think, getting a warmer welcome in some respects.
Yeah, I think, you know, he shares his emotion very well too. I mean, there's no question, even from a distance, that you could tell that is one really happy man.
Yeah.
And there are so many other happy people to see that and share it. And I think, you know, he's well respected and well loved in that way too.
Anyway, so the next skipper's in. What are you thinking about Nico Lundven?
I mean,
He's had a good race.
Yeah, he did a really good race. Always fighting with Jeremy for 5 or 6 just before the problem of J2 of Thomas Ruyant, and then finally he's going to finish the 6th place. So it's pretty representative of his race. You always can expect more because he is able to do more, but it was really important for PRB and Holcim to finish the race, and it's going to be the case. And I hope for him it's going to be a first step to build something maybe new for the ocean race, and then maybe for a new campaign.
Here's hoping. But this is Paul Mea on the dock in English.
So tonight was quite difficult because I had a big front behind me and sometimes big gust at 40 knots. So I did some Chinese jibe and yeah, it was not easy. But this morning was more quiet. I know that I have time before the channel, so I focus about the back to think about the race and what I did, and I'm really proud about me and proud about the team, because the boat is quite good shape. And now I'm just enjoying and just happy to see a human face, because I didn't see a human face in 2-3 months, and particularly my friend, my family, the team, and yeah, I'm super happy. So thank you, and Vendée Globe is amazing.
So Chris, Paul Mea really enjoying re-entry back into real life, seeing human faces and enjoying the emotions.
Yeah, that's what Pip said. He's really able to share the emotion, and I just saw him a bit in the channel, and he was, jumping, waving everyone, and a big smile on his face. And I think he resumed really well that he's really proud and also really happy because he knows how hard is it just to finish the race. And this 5th place is just amazing.
And to get into the race in the first place and to have done all he's done.
Exactly.
Say, since the disappointment of his last Vendée Globe.
Exactly.
What an achievement.
Yeah, totally.
Pip, let's have a quick look down through the ranking and then give us the weather in a few seconds.
Yeah, sure. So looking at the ranking now, obviously we've got Jeremy and Paul in at 4th and 5th, and the next one in is Holcim PRB arriving sometime tonight. And then behind them, there is a bit of a battle happening between Thomas Rion and Justine Metro. So only 20 miles between them, so that's going to be interesting to watch. Sam Goodchild coming in behind them, and then another battle between Benjamin Dutroux and Clarisse Kremer. So again, 30 miles between them, and as they turn the corner, that's going to be interesting because potentially Clarisse is in the faster boat, so that will be a good one to watch. Further down the fleet, we've got Sam Davies and Boris Herman, who we'll see from the weather later. They're going to be in a bit later than that next depression. Further down, Isabelle Joschka, still holding on to her 17th place there. We've got Conrad Coleman in 21st still. And then going down to here, we've got Ollie here in 30th, Jingun Zhu 31st, and Denis Van Weinberg is in 34th position.
Indeed, Pip, thanks very much. What's your thoughts on the next group coming in then, Chris? There's still pretty tough conditions with the meteo, with the weather.
Yeah, I think maybe Pip gonna talk about this, but there is a first problem this night because it's gonna be really tough to go in the boat for the team, to jump in the boat for the team because there is 3 to 4 meters waves high outside. So it's really a challenge to jump on the boat and help the skipper to spend the night outside. And then normally tomorrow morning is gonna be okay with the sea state, and they will have a beautiful channel at midday. But the problem is going to be here again for Clarisse and not for Clarisse, for
Sam and Boris.
Sam and Boris, and we're talking not at 4 meters, but like 9 to 10 meters. So it's just completely crazy.
Pip, tell us all about it. We have this big purple monster coming in.
So yeah, let's just look at the animation now. So initially we've got this front here, which is what's bringing all the weather in now, and we can see Holcim PRB is ahead of that front, and then we have Justine and Thomas Rion, and then Sam Goodchild after them, just coming in. So the front is stretching out from Finistère into Brittany, and it eventually will become less active, but it's just going to make life difficult, in particular for Justine and Thomas as they come in. And then the eyes are watching on this big depression that's developing next, with a huge front that's coming in and going to create bother for the next lot in. So we can see clearly that Benjamin and Clarisse look like they're ahead of that. But Sam and Boris, who's not on this animation, they would have problems if they were to try and come in with this front. And in particular, it's the waves that are the problem. So if we just look here, this would be on the night of the 27th. And this area here is 8-meter waves, which is huge. I mean, it's really huge. So for that reason, we're going to see that Sam and Boris both probably slow down a bit. Boris is behind anyway, but there's no way on earth that you would want to bring a boat into the Bay of Biscay with those conditions. Looking a little bit further down the fleet, they've got some quite nice conditions at the moment. I think they'll be enjoying the sailing, and there's good close racing. So everyone's in the trades. We can see Roman is just going across a ridge of high pressure there. Everyone else are in fairly solid trades. In the North Atlantic, the doldrums are quite far south, but they are quite small, so that shouldn't hold people up too much. It's a little bit more patchy for the group just off the top of Brazil. They're heading into the doldrums. And then finally down in the deep south here, we can see that these three are going to benefit from some southwesterlies, and they should start making quite rapid progress up to the corner of the ice limit there, and then further up the track.
Thanks very much, Pip. So, Chris, emotionally very tough times for the boats that have to slow down. Like we can see Sam Davis has already turned round. She sent us a message this morning saying that she's no longer in race mode, she's in adventure mode, and that could last for a few days.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's been pretty tough for all this group. I mean, the group from 4 to, let's say, 12, they had to figure this tough condition since like maybe New Zealand. And compared to the top 3, I mean, the gap is so huge. There is 10 days, but it's not 10 days in terms of difference of level between the skippers and the boat. It's just 10 days because the forecast for this group was so tough. Tough in the South Atlantic, tough then in the North Atlantic with upwind and then this huge low pressure. And at the moment that they can say, okay, it's finished. Okay, I didn't win the Vendée Globe. I didn't have a good place on the podium, but it's finished. No, you still have to wait for 2 days, 3 days that the low pressure and the big waves pass to go and to achieve your race. So, I mean, it's really, really hard. I mean, I'm thinking about Boris, who was here to maybe to win the race or to be on the podium, and finally he has this so rough end of race. I mean, it's really hard for him.
Yeah, Pip, it's tough for Boris in particular with a compromised boat and great expectations coming into the race, and he's still got a long way to come.
Yeah, and I think kind of it's being able to still find a way to kind of want to push forward and be proud of what you're doing. And if there is a lot of pressure on you to be on the podium and a lot of expectations, and you know, once you realise that's not going to happen, you do need to kind of regroup and still be proud of the fact that, you know, you still look at the times, you look at the performances of this boat, you look at the level of the competition. There is still an immense amount of sporting success in each finish. I mean, they finished, I didn't, so you know, but it does take a different mindset to kind of regroup and still find joy and pride in that.
And of course, I guess with Boris in particular, he has to look at the broader picture of what he's achieved over the quadrennial, rather than just obviously the Vendée Globe's the pinnacle, but he's achieved so much over the quadrennial.
Oh, I mean, it is immense if you kind of look at the trajectory of Team Malizia since 2019. You know, they have just turned into something completely different, and made massive inroads into kind of making sailing more accessible for a wider audience. And you know, there's a lot.
He's still on TV, you know, national TV regularly over the course of the race at home in Germany.
Yeah, and you know, I've just been at the Düsseldorf Boat Show, and you know, Boris is a massive name there. Everyone's talking about him. Everyone's proud of him, and I guess, you know, he just needs to zoom out, think about the big picture.
This is Boris earlier on today, just putting us in the picture, just how he's feeling. And this is Boris on Malizia Sea Explorer earlier on today.
It's an exercise of patience. But it's still beautiful, even going at 8-9 knots. We being just a little bit on starboard tack, maybe another 10 hours. Then early in the morning we're on port, most of the way back home. That's good. We have mellow conditions, 12 to 18 knots of wind, which is good. And the boat is going like this and then setting sideways a little bit. Each wave, that's not much, doesn't have much grip in the water. There's no foil to give it a direction. A bit long days out here, but holding good. It's not long anymore. See you soon.
So, Chris, obviously you know Boris pretty well. What's in his mind at the moment then? He seems to be still finding little bits of enjoyment, but you can tell from his eyes that he really wants to be finished.
Yeah, but I think what is impressive with Boris is his ability to find the positive side of what happened to him, and I think he showed it really well during all this Vendée Globe. It's really a tough exercise, and you can see many of other competitors that are not really able to have this type of mindset. And I also like his ability to find philosophy ways to think about this. I also think that he is starting to think about the future.
He has a future project, or future projects going
the
forward.
Ocean Race Europe coming soon, and then they are building a new boat for the next campaign. So it's not exactly the same when you're gonna still have sponsors, Pip, and you're gonna continue, or you still have to find some, and then your result is maybe is a key to find some new sponsor. It's not the case of Boris, so I think now he's really focused on enjoying the moment at sea, and he said this really well, and then begin to think about the future with his team.
The skipper you know more about, obviously, and you've sailed many, many more miles, is Jeremy. I mean, it's been a tough race for him, as setting out with the ambition to win and not quite getting there, but I think he's found it really, really tough mentally. You know, in all the years I've done these races, I've seen him probably as haggard and down and struggling. I think he has that very, very high level ambition to win.
Yeah, for sure. But again, they knew pretty much like 30 days ago that it was not possible to win. So I think that's the advantage of ocean race is that you have the time to do deuil. How you say deuil? When someone is dead and you have to recover. Huh? Mourn.
To grieve.
Yeah, exactly. And so you have the time for this during the race, and then to refocus on a new objective. And the objective was to win the peloton race, the peloton sprint, and he did it. And also, I didn't watch all these videos, but even if sometime he fall down again and is like, it's hard, it's painful, etc. We also saw a new Jeremy, which is more in the positive side of the race, and what we saw on the interview shows this really well. So I think he's still progressing a lot in this mental part, which sometimes is a little bit of a weak point for him.
You know him? Do you think we'd see him back in 2028? He's done 5.
He's really able to go back, even if maybe my advice was okay, you achieve everything in offshore sailing, maybe you can do something else now, because he's really able to do many other things, but I think he's really able to come back.
Who else has really impressed you in the race recently?
I mean, for me, the amazing result for sure was Seb. I agree with Pip about Benjamin, which really did a nice race, and finishing 10 with this boat is amazing.
What do you think the outcome of that one will be, both of you?
What?
What do you think the outcome of that little battle between Benj and Clarisse will be?
I will go
objectively.
I will go for Benjamin, because on the upwind or reaching, Clarisse really have an advantage with his long foils and this new setup. But I think downwind, I mean, the boats are pretty equal, so I think Benjamin can keep the 10th place, for sure.
What about the Daggerboard boats? Are you watching them? We've got Tanguy Le Turquet against...
Not that much, but Tanguy Le Turquet is sailing my boat, the boat I used to sail during the Route du Rhum. So I'm still impressed about the performance of this boat, which was built in 2008, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just amazing. He's doing a really nice race, Benjamin too. I don't know, it's going to be a match for
Benjamin Ferry, sure. Very much the latecomer.
Yeah. No, for sure, it's really nice.
What about you, Pip? What do you think of the Daggerboard race? Do you have your skin in the game, as they say?
So, I mean, I'm watching it, and as we've said, Tanguy and Benjamin are doing phenomenally well. Probably Tanguy is more stand out on that, because I think Benjamin technically has the better boat. But I think Conrad Coleman is sailing an incredible race. I mean, if you're always looking for people who are outperforming their boats, I would say Conrad is doing that.
You're right.
And again, he got his money quite late in the campaign. You know, he was
Did so much of his own.
struggling at the beginning.
yeah.
He really was. And so now for him to be able to deliver a race like that, it's really great to watch. And he loves it. He's enjoying it, which is so nice to see.
I think I'm almost like Paul in some ways. When you've had the big setback that he had in his race, you come back with so much more ambition and so much more drive.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, there was no way on earth Conrad was going to stop. He's pretty single-minded. And so for everything to have come together and him to be given the chance to demonstrate what he can do is really good to see.
Now, one skipper who's had a few problems has been Jackie, our Chinese skipper, who's had to climb his mast, and I think he's really struggled. But he's been so impressive as well, hasn't he?
Oh, just absolutely. You know, he's another person who just seems to be kind of embracing every challenge. He's really pushed himself forward. He's got consistent performance. And, I mean, climbing the mast when you only have one hand.
Yeah.
I am terrified of doing it at the best of times. You know, I can't imagine how much harder it is for him and how much it takes to convince himself to get off the deck. And yet he just kind of embraces all of this. And he's another person who just is being given a chance to show us what he can do. And it's impressive.
Chris, your thoughts on, I mean, there's races going right onto the very back of the fleet.
Yeah,
as ever.
I mean, the first thing is when you look at the map, Pip shows that there is a huge pack just after the equator, and they are really fighting a lot, like the leaders. So it's really amazing to see, and I'm completely impressed about what Pip say. I mean, it's just crazy. Sailing this boat is just so hard. But with just one head, I can even imagine. So. Big up to him, big up to Damien too. I mean, it's just crazy. And it's a lot of inspiration for us because when you're struggling and when you are like whining about your situation, maybe you just have to think about them and
how lucky they are.
Okay, maybe it's not that tough.
Who do you see with most potential going forwards of this, the next group and the younger sailors? I mean, everybody's talking about Sam Goodchild, but beyond that, who else
yeah,
is...
for sure. Sam did an amazing race, and he showed that he's got a great potential. Sébastien too, but we're also gonna have a new generation is coming. I mean, I'm talking about the French skipper, but we also
Gaston
have
Morvan.
yes, Gaston Morvan, Loïs Béréard, Corentin Euro, Elodie Bonafou, which already has her boat. So I mean, this new generation of 30 gonna rule the world on the. And
are they going to come in with sponsorship packages and boats, or are you still looking? Or there is that level of interest in France.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, almost of the name I dropped, they already have kind of project or sponsor or already bought. So I mean, there is always new project, new sponsor, new skippers coming in the IMOCA fleet. Each Vendée Globe, you said maybe there is going to be a touchdown and finally not. So it's crazy.
What about the pathway for international skippers, Pip?
I mean, it would be great to kind of see a more international element in the class still. And I think, you know, although we do have a representation of nationalities within the class at the moment, we're the only non-French team that's not based in France. And it comes with its challenges. But I think kind of the Vendée Globe race is having a much broader appeal internationally now. And so, you know, I would like to see more international skippers and more foreign-based teams getting involved in the IMOCA class. But it is hard. It's really hard when all the culture's here, all the knowledge is here, all the training is here. But the answer to that is we just need to try and set up facilities in other places where that knowledge can be shared.
Where would that be, or what's your dream vision there?
So my hope is over the next 4 years that we're going to set up more of a base in Poole and encourage other teams to come and join us there and share our knowledge, kind of pass on our knowledge and be able to work with other teams. So yeah, if anybody's out there and they want to come to Poole, we're waiting for you.
You're welcome. Indeed. So, thank you so much.
I'm the French who will go to
exactly, maybe.
Yeah.
You're welcome anytime. Anyway, thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you so
We'll
much.
wait and see what tomorrow brings, but we should have some live skippers coming in to the show tomorrow, hopefully. But that's what we have for you just now for the Vendée Global Live show. And as I say, join us again tomorrow. We've got boats coming into the channel tonight and tomorrow. Same kind of schedule. We'll probably have a couple of boats around about midday, but we will be back live hopefully tomorrow at the same time and the same place. We'll see you then.